Hey, welcome back to another episode of Max and Yo-Yo. Um, Once again, thank you so much for joining us. Today is quite a different episode because we do not agree.
Yeah.
uh, oh, it's quite a different episode. We were having a conversation just now, and we thought, well, this would make a good episode in terms of how we're addressing this because we just can't seem to agree. So we're just going to dive right in. The story is told of Um, a girl and a guy were in a relationship. They started a relationship. The guy wooed her. We can say he maybe love bombed her. It was perfect. Her friends, they didn't very much care for the relationship. They could see through him that he wasn't what he claimed to be. But as they say, love is blind. And the girl, she truly, truly believed that this could be the one. A few months into the relationship, the guy had to move to a different country. Actually, prior to the relationship, he had been working on his paper to immigrate from the country they were in to a different country. Um, and so it was like, oh, okay, when I get there, we're going to continue our relationship. Nothing is going to come between us. You're the one that I want. You're the love of my life. You're this and that and all, everything in between. His paper comes out, and the guy finally immigrates to the country, the other country. Um, and of course, as things tend to happen, cracks begin to show. Communication is no longer flowing as things would have. Slowly but surely, the girl finds out that her boyfriend actually had a fiance in the other country that he had just moved to. Of course, she's heartbroken, and she confronts him, and he's like, "Wait, wait, 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 wait. I know you caught me, but give me a minute to explain." What happened was, my family, they're making me do this. I don't really like this girl. It's you I love, but my family wants me to marry her. So once I marry her, you just chill. I will go ahead and marry this other girl that I don't love, that my family is making me marry. And once I've married her, I will turn around and we can continue our relationship. Easy peasy, nothing, nothing spoiled. And so I guess Yo-Yo and myself were having conversation about this girl in this situation because of course she's heartbroken. This is not the life she signed up for. And of course the relationship ended, and we couldn't agree with who was at fault, or I wouldn't say at fault, or with what we were getting out of the situation. So I'm going to let Yo-Yo tell you her perspective, and then I'll tell you why I do not agree. Okay, we'll take it away, girl.
All right, Max. Thank you for sharing that story with our fans and our followers and our audience. So, one thing is very obvious. I know that humans can be very deceptive, but I don't think they're perfect at it at 100%. There can be some species that might be a little bit more perfect, like 99%, but there is always a giveaway with intentions. There is always a giveaway with plans. There is no plan that is really, really, really secret. Okay, so if the friends of the guy of the lady was able to see that deception, that we don't think, but I know that in relationship and in marriage, you are the one that is responsible for your decision, and you're the one that would make that ultimate decision all by yourself because it's a personalized journey. But it is very important to also listen, because at that point where the friends were trying to tell her, draw attention to areas, the gray areas in that relationship, if she was just a little bit more patient, just to listen or observe that, okay, these are the areas my friends are pointing at. Okay, so let me confirm if they are correct or if they're wrong. But just give a deaf ear to their words and still move on without confirming. And the truth is, the guy would have given her green light or red light or orange light, but somewhere in her heart, this is the love of my life and everything is going to be good. We're going to be good together. I know it's not every guy that would come up to say, oh, you know what, I don't want again, right? But maybe because they fear heartbreak. They don't want to be in that place where the emotional outburst will come forth, and so they will want to tell their story through signs, through actions. And so I feel the lady had so many signs for her to just confront him or to just walk away, but she kept open that everything will be fine. So that's the part that's the angle I'm looking at it from, Max.
Well, I want to thank you for sharing that. That's one way to look at it. But here's why I do not agree, and I don't necessarily put the blame on on the lady in question. Um, Love is blind. Let us start there. In that, usually, I know many people have been in relationship with people that, when people ask, why are you in a relationship with that guy? Like, nobody could even fathom that you would be in relationship with this guy, or a person would be in a relationship with another person. But somehow, between both of you, there is just a chemistry, or something that is happening that only both of you is privy to, and it works out for both of you. And I think that in that situation, it is what it is. When you are in a situation where someone is showing you is love bombing you, I would say, with all the right things to you, it is very difficult for you to turn around and see what other people are saying, in terms of like, this person is probably not the best person for you. And why do I say that? I say that from experience, because I've been a victim of such. Not that I excuse my actions as a young girl, at the time, because I was a younger person. But I was in a situation with, I think, my first ever boyfriend, and everybody told me this guy was no good. But he was taking, or he was doing everything right in front of me. And I could not for the life of me see what everybody else was saying, at the time. In hindsight, and with the vantage point of age and maturity, yes, I can now. But in that moment, this guy was perfect. And so this is why I'm giving this lady in this story grace, because I've been there. I know what it means, to be in a relationship where people are telling you it probably isn't the one. And like, this guy seemed to be perfect. And like, you're like, is everybody crazy? Because like, he's doing everything right. And so that's my point to that, my counterpoint to that. Secondly, I just don't believe that people need to go about hurting people. For me, I'm a person that, I said, I'm not one of the people that reads body language very well. Like, if you know me, you've probably heard me say this. Like, I'm not one of those people that reads body languages. I don't understand unspoken non-verbal cues. I'm not very good at interpreting it. Sometimes you could be trying to say one thing non-verbally and have interpreted it all the way left. Or you could, be trying to say one thing all the way left and have interpreted it some other way. So I'm always the kind of person that requires you. And I will tell you this, like, if you're not feeling it, I need you to say that, because this is how I communicate. I need you to say it. So I don't agree that a person is checking out of a relationship and then they're like giving you body language signals. Because when you're invested in a relationship, I think that people just naturally want to fix things. Like, a lot of women are fixers. You're in a relationship, you've invested your time, you've invested your money, you've invested your emotions, you invested everything you need to invest, whatever. And once you start to sense that something is not right, the first thing is not to throw away the relationship. That's not what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, okay, what's the issue? Where is the leakage coming from? How can we seal it? How can we make it work? How can we solve this problem? How can we, resolve it and, get back to the lovey-dovey, cushiony couple, that we were? And of course, it's in the process of trying to find, how can we get back to the level of communication? Again, be mindful that this guy promised this girl that when I leave to this other country, nothing is going to change. All right. Nothing is ever going to change. We're going to have the same level of communication. So these are spoken promises that were given before he left. So she's obviously trying to capture the promise that he made before he left. So I don't necessarily believe in, like, or he may have given her signs. I think, yes, while that may be true, it's very difficult because when you're the person in that relationship, in that moment, going through the motions, you're just thinking, how, what is the issue? What is going on? What can we fix it? And throwing away the relationship probably isn't the first, second, or third thing that comes to mind in this instance. And this is kind of why I'm giving the lady a little bit of grace.
Yeah, that's a very, very valid and important point to note. And so, on top of that, speaking to our 30 plus community, and so, we might be in a relationship, you're thinking of walking away right now, and you really don't know how to go about it. Just like the way you asked her out, it is just so very perfect to also break up that way. Talk about it. I know there might be some emotions, there might be some crying and everything, but it's okay, right? Just like the way you asked her out, she was so excited, and so deal with that negative emotions as well, and so talk about it and walk away rather than ghosting her and giving her signs. Like Max has already pointed out, it's very important to talk about things. And also, I agree with Max. However, I would also say this to our 30 plus click family. If you're in a relationship and the sign language is no longer there, is becoming blurry, it's also very important to talk about it. And if you really cannot talk about it, or if you can talk about it and nothing is changing, oh, you're no longer calling me again. Oh, I'm busy. You're doing this. Oh, I'm so busy. Oh, the time zone difference. Da, 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 da. No more effort like you would have made effort initially. I think even if you really don't want to walk away, start nursing your heart so that the heartbreak will not come to you as a surprise, because people would always make effort to to connect or to be with the people that are very important to them. And so that's excuse of I'm busy, of the first sign, I think the first sign that a relationship is going down is when there is a crack in the communication. So when you start seeing that this communication is dropping and you talk about it, is still dropping, I think that is a very big sign. And so if I'm not saying the lady did all that she could do to hold up her faith, to believe the best and everything, but if no work is done on those things, the pillars that holds any relationship, I think it's just about time for you to start nursing your heart and start getting ready to walk away. Safeguard your joy. It's always my principle, Max.
No, for real. I absolutely agree with you on that last part there. And I think there was a quote that I read this week. Um, I can't remember by who now, but I think it was profound and I'm paraphrasing. And basically, this quote says, if it's confusing, it's not love. If it makes you doubt, if their actions makes you doubt, causes you unease, causes you to wonder, causes you to makes you confused, it's not love. Love is never confusing. It's always direct, it's always prompt, it's always, straight, a matter of fact, like you know where you stand in every situation. So yeah. So to our 30 plus click fam, just like you've heard the story of this lady, and you heard my take and Yo-Yo's take, um, we would like to hear, what is your take on this situation? Is there anything that this lady could have done different? Of course, as a this community, we're all about learning and learning, because we don't believe in like making your own mistakes to learn. You can learn from other people's stories. So can you tell us in the comments, like how would you have handled this differently? What would be your steps? Do you agree with your takes about body language or sign language or non-verbal cues? Or like do you give or are you on my side with giving this lady grace in terms of how you approach things? Let us know how you're feeling, what side you're landing on, or if you have a totally different take. We would love to hear all about it. But until next time, thank you for joining the Tech Plus Click fam.
Thank you so much for joining our episode. And guess what? So because I've gotten lots of feedback. We receive feedback that Spotify is a little bit sometimes they don't want to log in, and you want a little something that is a little bit more accessible. And so we started throwing out our videos on YouTube.
YouTube.
Like,
30
so
plus
please
click is
follow
now
us.
on YouTube.
Yay! We made it.
Oh yeah, of course. Like go head on up to YouTube, search 30 plus click. You'll be able to get all our latest episodes on YouTube as well. And of course on Spotify. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right. And so please show us some love on YouTube, subscribe, share, and like our videos and our page. Thank you and have a wonderful, beautiful weekend. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.